That's how 2018 began. English Bay in the water. Lisa Pantages, granddaughter of the founder of this tradition. How long are these people in the water when they jump in usually?
Some people go in pretty quickly. They dip. Other people swim around. Other people go in multiple times. Everybody creates their own tradition.
Well, you know, it's a fun tradition. It's people celebrating the start to a brand new year. But how did this get started so many years ago?
It started, my grandfather swam almost every day of his life. He was determined to swim in the ocean every day of his life. When he moved to Vancouver, he did that. And a small group of friends started joining him. And then one day on New Year's Day, they decided to call it the Polar Bear Swim Club. And they swam around the old original pier that used to be at English Bay. And slowly but surely it caught on, and more people came down to watch the swim and participate. And it grew and grew over the years.
Oh, your grandfather, Peter Pantages, he was in great shape. We have some of the photos. Old school black and white. We didn't put a filter on me. This is what it was.
He's a pretty handsome fellow.
Yeah.
Well, swimming, it's good for you.
And then as we take a look at how the tradition evolved over the years, this next photo, do you remember how far back this goes?
This is in the mid-1930s. As you can see, there's a much bigger crowd. By then, my grandfather would invite anybody who went swimming to go back to his restaurant for a hot meal. So it started catching on.
And you've been a part of it. Every year of your life, you have participated in this. You've been alongside your grandfather as well. What year was this from? You know? This
was a couple of years ago, I believe, just after the swim. Yeah, so my toes were dipped in the New Year's of 1963, and I've done it every year since then.
And the cool thing of when you actually register, because there are people that show up for this tradition that don't register, they just want to participate. There is, and Kurt, I'm going to hold this up so you can see all of these great buttons you get for being a part of the club.
It's so true. A lot of people come down to the swim and are there just to get their button again to prove that they were there. It's a great commemorative piece that the Parks Board puts on.
Yes.
To commemorate it, yeah.
And if someone is looking at this thinking, I want to be a part of this, because you see year after year a lot of families, a lot of different generations taking part.
It's true.
What are some things to keep in mind so they're doing this and doing this safely?
One of the things that I always recommend is if you have small children with you, don't try and rush in with the beginning of the crowd that goes in, because a lot of people come right back out. But walk down slowly, make it a family event, make it a fun participation with your kids. I always recommend wearing shoes. Your feet are the first thing that will go numb after you've been in the water, so protecting your feet is important. The sand can start feeling like glass once your feet get a little bit numb, which they will a little bit. Yeah. Limit alcohol. Alcohol causes hypothermia. Maybe one for bravery and save the rest for the party afterwards.
The après. With the
après. My grandfather used to cover himself in olive oil. I have no idea if that actually works or not.
Really?
But less is more, actually. Clothing, the more clothes you wear, the more it keeps the cold in. So bathing suits, although that dinosaur looks pretty.
I have to do a double take on that. Okay, before we let you go, I want to show up this, because this is a piece of history right here.
It is.
This will, you wear this, but this was worn by your grandfather.
It was. It was. And the amazing thing about this wool suit is it actually keeps me warm. So I will go in 8 or 9 times on New Year's Day, and then I'm usually out on the podium with the winners of the memorial race for at least 45 minutes afterwards, and it actually keeps you warm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, good for you. Thanks for creating the tradition. How many people do you expect to come out this time around? I'm
expecting over 2,000 to swim. I really want to encourage people to actually register, because we often have way more swimmers than registrants. It's a great thing for a city to know how many people have gone in. Yeah. We are in competition with Coney Island for being the biggest. I think we're going to get a lot of people. It's going to be a beautiful day. So that always encourages people to come down.
Pool noodle? Do you bring that, or is that just
I don't, but many do.
No?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll see. Well, there was a dinosaur costume, so you never know. Lisa, thank you.
Thank you so much
for coming by and sharing a piece of that history. A fun tradition coming your way.